Yeah, it's Paul Slackis, Good News Planet, actually in Brooklyn, and I'm with Tony Bianco. Hi, Tony. How are you?
Paul, I'm terrific. How you doing?
Okay, I'm calling from your home state.
God bless. God bless Brooklyn and everybody that lives in it. It is my beginning of time where I was born, and I am so proud and happy about that. I owe everything to Brooklyn. I really do. It grew me up and made me who I am, and prepared me for everything that could come at me.
In that regard, and since we're going to talk about your one-man wonderful show with LaGuardia, Fiorello LaGuardia, and Little Flower, which I have seen, and I really was so taken by it all, and the understanding. I learned a ton about the gentleman, and obviously, since you did grow up in New York City, you understand, politics and the running of a city, or not the running of the city. So what fascinated you? I know you're an illustrious, successful, award-winning actor, been in so many wonderful movies and TV shows and stage, so on and so forth. What is it about LaGuardia that has interested you so greatly?
Well, his honesty, the fact that he is not beholden to anyone in terms of patronage, a man who believed that the Constitution of this country means something, a person that was concerned about the people, a person who obeyed the law, who did not lie to his constituents, who respected the people, and who was strong and fought against corruption. All those qualities seem to be lacking in our current administration, and unfortunately, LaGuardia is not here to advise and do for the people, and that's the reason why I do my show, so that people can understand the parallels between 1934 and 1945, when Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia was in office, and people also forget that he was also a 7-term congressman. So during all that time of serving to the people, being their servant, let's keep that always in mind, that the people are who you serve, the people who hire you to do this job for them. He was able to get so much done, and that's the reason why I tried to be the voice of LaGuardia at my show, The Little Flower, which is what he was called because of Fiorello, and the idea that it's going to be done now at the Capo Opera Theater, which is on 76th Street between 3rd and Lexington Avenue in New York City, on the 25th of February. I am taking the show on tour in Florida and South Carolina and so on, and New Jersey and so on and so forth, to get the message out. That's why I'm doing it on the 25th of February, and to warm up before I go on tour with the show. I also did this show in Russia, in Moscow, and it was surprising. It was during Perestroika in 1989. And during that time, as you would say and I would say, what do the Russian people know about LaGuardia? The answer is nothing. What they responded to was the message of and for the people. And the applause was so overwhelming that I had to go off stage with all the flowers that were given to me and come back on. And the cherry on all this is that the ambassador to the United States said to me, "You have done more for our country in these 2 hours than I have done in 2 years, because of what I represented to the people of Russia." And that is my mission, and it's my mission to help this country understand, the people of this country, to understand what is going on in our government and how we can make those change. And of course, the changes are all about you, the people. You have got to make the change. I can only be a voice and show you the parallels of what's been happening to this country, but you have got to get out and vote. I have have read something I've written just recently says that our Constitution states that our country is made up of the three branches of the government: Congress, the Senate, and the President. And the laws are voted on by Congress and the Senate, and the President signs them. The law cannot be changed by the President unless it is voted on Congress and the Senate. The President alone cannot make amend or change the law. That's common sense, logic, and what it is. So we have to be able to, I also say, Congress and congressmen make laws that for you and me to follow. Don't you think it should be required that they follow those laws themselves? And if you agree with that statement, then you have to vote that way and throw the bums out. So I can go on, but sorry.
I know you're passionate about this, no doubt.
I am very passionate.
And you can see it in your performance. Who wrote the play?
Well, it was written originally by Paul Shire a long time ago in 1984. But I now own the play, and I have rewritten it, and so now I've rewritten about, I'd say, 75-80% of the play. But the foundation and the formula of the play was written by Paul Shire, who's passed away. God rest his soul, and he had his heart in the right place. I tried to make the show more relevant to what's happening now, more of a parallel so that people can see. And it's interesting because, I've taken it to Congress. I've did the show in Washington, D.C. For many congressmen, and it's fascinating that both sides of the aisle agree with me and say this is the way our country and our city should be run. So that's quite an accomplishment, and I'm very proud about that. So I urge everybody to come and see the show on February 25th. You have to do Tony Lobo at AOL.com and ask for Chris, and you can arrange tickets. The tickets are $43, and I'm trying to get the message out, making the tickets as cheap as possible. So if you bring groups, we'll even do less. I just want to get the show out there. I've been doing it for years, off and on. As a matter of fact, John Katsimatidis, who ran for mayor this year, was inspired by my show, and he bought out 19 shows to promote that this is the way he wanted to run the government, run the city. He was not successful in getting the message out to so many people or delivering it himself, which he tried to, and he did very well, only fell short by 5,000 votes. Now, the thing is, we, the people, have to get out and vote. You cannot, people don't know what's going on in this country. They just, seem to go along to get along and take whatever's happening as that's it. No. We've become complacent. I think 20-something% of the public voted in the last election. That's embarrassing. Embarrassing, and for this country to do things like that. Afghanistan, they voted for 75% of the people voted. We've got to save our country here, folks. We cannot just sit back and not know what's going on. So please take an interest in your own country, and if you're not that interested, be interested in your family. Be interested in your children and their children. That's what it's all about. What's going on now, I'm safe, and I'm sure a lot of you are safe, and it's not going to hurt you. But later on, we have a 17 trillion, folks, $1 trillion debt that we owe, and we're borrowing money from China. We're putting ourselves in a vulnerable position. We cannot do that and survive. And your children are not born yet, and your grandchildren, they owe at the moment about $40,000-$50,000 already because you're complacent, because you don't know what's going on. Listen, there's Sharia law out there in our own country. People are trying to actually have to say, have to vote on if you want Sharia law or not. I don't even, maybe some of you don't even know what that is. But that's a law that the Muslim Brotherhood lives under, and the countries that want to invade us, the people that have attacked us in 9/11, they're now infiltrated our country. We have big pockets in places like Chicago and in other places that are just packed with enclaves of groups that the police won't even go into anymore because they're too dangerous. And they're living under their own law. Now, you got to know what's going on in this country. You really got to pay attention. Anyway, I'm going on, aren't I?
Tony, let me ask you another side of your, another side of your passion, okay? That's a do-good side, the nonprofit side, helping organizations and so on. Let's take just a moment, share some of the kinds of things you do in that regard.
Well, look, it's something that we all that we all care about. Our military, our beautiful, beautiful people who volunteer, folks, volunteer to help us out with little reward afterwards. The politician gets paid big money just for one term, being a congressman or senator for life. Our military gets very little support from our government. People who sacrifice their lives, who lose limbs, and have to live that way. Well, I'm involved with Tunnels for Towers, which is a place that builds homes for heroes for their wounds. You please get involved in that. Also, cancer research. That's look for the right ones too. Look up the record of what they give away. What their costs are, and what executives get paid, and make a wise decision on giving your money to those groups. The firefighters, the police, widows, the people who help us. And I support the police department tremendously because they're on our side, folks. They're helping us keep the city safe, keep things in order, and promote the good things that the freedom that we are supposed to have in this country, and they keep us safe. So the police department, the widows, the firefighters, all those organizations that are just and also the families that are not being supported, the military families are not being supported by our government. That's remarkable. When you take a look at what a soldier earns and what he gets for his pension afterwards, compared to what a politician receives, politician who sends those men and women into war. And I also don't think we should be a third-class country. We're falling by the wayside, giving our power over to the enemy, basically. If you just look at where we are now in education, and I don't mean throwing more money at it. I mean using the money wisely that we have and not wasting it all, and being tough on our educators so that let's stop being politically correct, please. Don't be so politically correct when you're fighting a war, too. The rules of engagement, as a matter of fact, go see this movie, The Lone Survivor. I recommend that movie to everyone. The Lone Survivor. Okay. This is a movie that shows you what being politically correct costs you. Let's make our kids not so timid in terms of getting in touch with their feminine side. Let's be, deal with. Not everybody should deserve an award. When the kids are competing against each other in a game, keep score. Winning and losing is part of life, and so don't. What this business about getting a trophy? Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody's just the same. They're not. Everybody's not the same. Everybody's got to achieve. Everybody just doesn't get a paycheck or standing around getting a handout.
All right, Tony. You obviously don't have much going on in your mind there.
And listen, other things that I'm doing. I just finished a movie script too, dealing with my life growing up in Brooklyn, called Pistol Pockets. I'm just rewriting. I always, when you say you're finishing a script, that's never true because they always get some other ideas, and I just can't. I love the challenge of coming up with new ideas, and I'm open and to all those things that'll make it better. So. I'm working on that. I'm working on a cabaret show, which hopefully will be coming out later on in the summer, and doing this LaGuardia. And people want to book it for their colleges because I want to get to that mind or high school.
That's a great crowd to go.
Yeah, that's you really want to get to their minds.
Beautiful. Last question, Tony. What's good news for you?
What's good news for me?
Right, and I want to also, before that, thank you for, we interviewed you at the World Peace Orchestra event, and we put that on our World Peace Day show, and want to get you involved with that as well, because peace obviously is in your soul.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. So what's good news for Tony Bianco?
Good news is that people who have heard me speak will take heed and follow up and become aware of what is happening in our country and vote. That would be very, very good news. Let's throw the bums out, and the idea of bringing our country back to what it used to be, what it means to be the leader of the world, and not just another person. Because believe me, if we are not the leader of the world, some other country will be. That's the bottom line. And if you're going to live under a Russian domination or a Chinese domination or a Muslim Brotherhood domination, just do nothing about anything, and it will happen.